1 million years ago, one of your ancestors' relatives stood on a beach staring at open water. No boat, no raft, not even rope. And somehow they crossed it anyway. Scientists just found stone tools on an Indonesian island that shouldn't exist. Tools over 1 million years old, on the far side of a strait no one should have been able to cross. No canoe could have survived that crossing. So how did they get there? The leading theory sounds almost too strange to be real. They didn't choose to cross at all. This isn't a story about sailing. It's a story about what happens when the ocean chooses for you. To understand this, you need to picture the map first. There's an invisible line running through Indonesia. Scientists call it the Wallace Line. On one side, tigers, elephants, monkeys, animals connected to mainland Asia by land bridges during the Ice Ages. On the other side, nothing crosses. Different animals entirely, evolving alone for millions of years. Even when sea levels dropped to their lowest, this gap never closed. Deep water, brutal currents, no land bridge, ever. And yet, on the far side of that line, on the island of Sulawesi, someone left tools behind. Cut, shaped, sharpened stone flakes, dated to at least 1.04 million years ago. That's not modern humans, that's not even close to modern humans. So who were they? The best guess is Homo erectus, an older, more primitive relative of ours. A species without our brain size, without complex language, without anything we'd call a plan. And somehow, they got across. Here's where it gets strange. Researchers now think it wasn't a voyage at all. A storm hits the coast. A tsunami rips through a river mouth. Trees, vegetation, whole tangled rafts of debris get torn loose and pulled out to sea. And clinging to that wreckage, not by choice, a small group is carried out into open water. Days pass, no control over direction, no idea what's ahead. Then land, not a destination, a survival. This wasn't an expedition, it was an accident that happened to end in a new world. And once it happened, it kept happening, again and again, over hundreds of thousands of years. On the island of Flores, that same accident produced something almost unbelievable. A new human species, small, barely over 3 feet tall. Scientists call them Homo floresiensis. The world calls them hobbits. Cut off on an island with limited food, their bodies shrank generation after generation. Island dwarfism, the same force that shrinks elephants and enlarges rats when a species gets stranded somewhere small. An entire branch of the human family tree, shaped by nothing more than a wave that happened to hit the coast on the wrong day. But that's only half the story, because a very different crossing happened much later, and this one wasn't an accident. Around 65,000 years ago, modern humans reached Sahul, what's now Australia and New Guinea. To get there, they had to cross open ocean, at least one stretch nearly 100 kilometers wide, with no islands in sight the entire way. Researchers ran the numbers on this. If people were just getting randomly swept out to sea the way Homo erectus might have been, the odds of anyone surviving to reach Sahul were under 5%. That number only changes if the crossing was intentional. If someone picked a direction and paddled toward it even slightly the whole way. Which means somewhere on that beach, 65,000 years ago, someone looked at open water with no land visible on the other side and decided to go anyway. Not swept away, not an accident, a choice. Imagine standing there with them. No compass, no maps, no way to know if there's anything on the other side at all. Just open horizon and a decision to paddle toward it regardless. That's the real fork in the road this video is named for. One crossing was survival forced by the ocean. The other was survival chosen in spite of it. And both of them live in your DNA right now. Every population outside Africa carries the genetic signature of ancestors who crossed water they had never seen the other side of. Not because they knew what was there, because not knowing wasn't a good enough reason to stay. That's not a detail from a science paper. That's the reason entire continents have people on them today. So the next time not knowing what's out there feels like a reason to stop, remember that somebody already answered that question for you a long time ago, and they didn't even have a boat.